Is a huge milestone in my life as well. Not only will I have to be honest and trustworthy to other people, but I will most importantly have to be honest and trustworthy to myself. For example, when going through the bar mitzvah process with Ms. Griffin, the cantor, and the rabbi, I had to rely on them to give me honest feedback, and they had to rely on me to give my prayers done so we could move on. In my bar mitzvah project, I helped coach a Special Olympic basketball team for the Special Olympics in January. The first 2 Tuesdays were evaluations, which helped the coaches pick the teams. After those 2 Tuesdays, I was told I would help coach a team named Become Mavericks every Tuesday from October to January. I chose to volunteer for the Special Olympics in my bar mitzvah project because I wanted to help the Special Olympic athletes improve their basketball skills and make a difference in their lives. My goal was to make an impression on these athletes and to show them that they are no different than anyone else just because they have a disability. I tried to encourage them to always do their best and to never give up. One of the most outgoing players on the team was CJ. He had a stroke when he was an infant that paralyzed his right arm and slurred his speech. CJ is a huge inspiration to me because he has gone through so many obstacles in his life, yet he lives his life to the fullest and never gives up. Although I feel like I accomplished my goal of making an impression on these athletes and showing them that they are no different than anyone else, it turns out that these athletes probably made a bigger impression on me. They taught me to never take anything for granted. They taught me that I can overcome obstacles thrown in front of me. They taught me to live life to the fullest, and most importantly, they taught me how to be a better person. My Torah portion is Kedoshim. Kedoshim means to be holy or sacred. The Torah portion, Kedoshim, meaning holy or sacred, talks about how we can be holy to things by doing the mitzvah. Being holy or unselfish is when a farmer finishes their harvest and does not pick up the gleaning from the harvest, but leaves them for the poor and stranger to eat. The farmer acts holy because he doesn't eat the gleanings from his harvest, but leaves them for the stranger and the poor, who need them more than the farmer does. After thinking about how I could be unselfish to my peers, I realized I could in many ways. One being in school. If somebody drops their books over on the floor on the way to one of their classes and I'm right there, I should help pick them up, because not only would that be the unselfish thing to do, but it would be the right thing to do. Also, I can be unselfish in everyday life. If somebody needs help opening a door, I can help open it. And if somebody's injured and needs help doing something, I can help them do it. My Haftorah portion is the Psalm of David. It talks about being good and true to yourself in times of difficulty. I chose this psalm to be my Haftorah portion mainly because it applied to me. It applied to me by teaching me to only make promises I can keep. For example, after I finished my bar mitzvah project, I made a promise to myself that I would try to continue to volunteer as much as I could with other Special Olympic events. And even though I've been very busy preparing for my bar mitzvah and playing baseball, I've still been able to keep this promise. My Haftorah portion is related to my Torah portion because both involve doing what is right. My Torah portion talks about doing the right thing because it says how to be unselfish to everyone, especially people who are in need. My Haftorah portion also talks about how to do the right thing because it tells us how to be honest and true to yourself. These 2 ways that command us to do what is right correlate to everybody because they both tell us simply to do a mitzvah. Whether it is picking up someone's books that fell on the ground or cooking food for the poor, you are still doing what God has commanded us to do, the mitzvah. Before I became a bar mitzvah, I knew I was going to need help and support from people. So I'd like to take the time to recognize them for all the help and support they've given me through this process. I would like to start off by thanking all of my Hebrew school teachers, especially Ms. Streffen for being one of my helpful tutors, the cantor and the rabbi for being my other tutors that spent so much time in helping me prepare for today. I would also like to appreciate both sets of grandparents for putting the time and effort to make this day very special. Next, I would like to mention my brother. Brandon, even though we fight, I couldn't imagine having anyone else for a brother. Thanks for being there when I need you. Now, most importantly, my parents. You guys have been there for me for 13 years now, but no matter whether you guys are yelling, "Stop fighting with your brother," or "a nice hit in a baseball game," you guys have always been there for me. You've helped me with so many things, so I'd just like to say thank you. Lastly, I would like to thank all of you that came today, especially out-of-town guests. I know how much effort you had to put in to make it here today, and I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's helped me through this process, because without you, I would not be here today.
Jason Morrow.
Mom and Dad are so proud of you. We know how nervous you were for the past couple of months thinking about how you were going to get through this. But not only did you manage to get through it, you did an awesome job. I remember our first meeting with the cantor when she told you that preparing for your bar mitzvah had to be about you. She told you that your parents should never have to nag you about practicing your lesson for the week. We can honestly say that we never, ever had to nag you to practice. You would practice in the shower, wasting all our hot water. You would practice in your room and in the car. You would practice almost anywhere you could. And Andrew, that practice paid off. In front of all your friends and family, you did an incredible job. Even though you are not technically an adult in Jewish law, you now have the rights and responsibilities of a Jewish adult. You can now be accountable for your actions. You now have the right to participate in leading a religious service, and you now will count in the minyan, and you also even get to fast on Yom Kippur. Hopefully you will take what you've learned all these years in religious school and continue with your Judaic studies. Andrew, you have grown to be such a well-rounded young man. Your caring, sensitive, happy-go-lucky, positive attitude is what draws you to so many people. You are so secure in who you are as a person that it takes a lot of the worrying that parents have for a child away from us. You are an incredibly competitive person, but in all the years you have succeeded at school and sports, you have been able to stay so humble. Your ability to not judge people is another great characteristic of you that will serve you well for the years to come. You are such a committed and passionate person as well. Many of us here know your passion for baseball, but the commitment you have shown over the last 6 months, going through physical therapy and rehabbing your shoulder at home while watching your teammates out on the field practicing and playing, all while keeping a positive attitude, is a remarkable attribute. At 11 years old, you decided to make a conscious effort to become healthier, so you researched online for a program to help you become a more competitive runner. For 2 years now, whether training for a race or just staying in shape, you've logged more miles on the treadmill and at the track than most people will in a lifetime. Your commitment to your schoolwork is also amazing. Since 4th grade, Mom and I have never had to ask you to get your homework done or study for an exam. We just log on to Parent View and see for ourselves what a great job you're doing in school. And finally, your bar mitzvah project. We really wanted you to pick a project that can make a big impact on your life. You chose to volunteer with the Special Olympics and their basketball program. I remember when our family walked into the gym for the first practice, expecting to see young handicapped children, but being completely surprised that all the athletes were 10 to 50 years older than you, and most much taller than you. I know you were very uncomfortable at that moment, but at the end of the first practice and for the next 4 months, you not only became comfortable with your role, but you thrived in your role as assistant basketball coach and friend to all the athletes on your team. Nothing made us prouder than hearing Tony, the head coach and father of Special Olympic athlete CJ, tell us what a great job you did and what a great kid you are. So much so that even though your bar mitzvah project was complete, he strongly urged you to come out this spring and help with his track and field team. Andrew, we are obviously so proud of you for today's accomplishment and milestone, but we are even more proud of the fine young man you have grown to be. We know that your strong, positive personality traits, your self-confidence, and your high self-esteem will allow you great success in your future, no matter what path you choose.